Hello students, this is Amardeep Singh, your ICT teacher, and today we are going to continue with the previous chapter, that is Cascading Style Sheets. And today we'll discuss part 3 of this chapter. And in this session we'll discuss about CSS syntax, methods of applying CSS, basic selectors in CSS. So first we'll discuss about CSS syntax, and we already discussed the same topic in previous session also, but I'm just here to revise the same topic. We can define a style sheet using style rules that are interpreted by a browser. A style rule consists of the following parts: selector, property, value, declaration, and rule. So this one is the complete style declaration, that is known as complete style declaration is known as style rule. Style rule is consisting of a selector. Here we are having h1 is a selector, and property and the value belongs to that property. This property and value is combinedly known as the declaration of style, and the name of the tag, or we can also use a user defined name here instead of using a tag. We'll discuss in next slide also, that is known as a selector. After CSS syntax, we'll discuss about methods of applying CSS. We are having three methods to apply CSS. One is inline style sheet, next is internal style sheet, and next is external style sheet. We'll discuss these two methods in this session, and the external style sheet we'll discuss in next session also. But inline style sheet we have already covered in previous session, that is a style sheet declaration is defined with the style attribute of a tag. For example, h1 style equal to the name of property value, then semicolon, second property, colon value, and so on. So this one is known as inline style sheet, as we discussed already discussed in previous session. And next we are having internal style sheet. Internal style sheet means a style sheet declaration is defined inside a web page using style tag. Here we are having an example. In this statement, in this line, we are applying an inline style sheet. We already discussed in previous session that if you will define a style sheet, a style declaration by using style attribute of any tag, not even in h1, you can specify it with the p tag, bold tag, italic, or any other tag. So if you will define a style like this by using style attribute and then the properties, then this one is known as inline style. So this one is the output. And inline style is used to apply will apply it only on the single tag of where we have applied the tag. For example, in this web page, in this code, we are having two h1 tags, h1 and h1, and inside first h1 we applied a inline style rule, and in second occurrence of h1 tag we didn't specify any style for this one. So that means this style is applied on only the first occurrence of that tag, and second occurrence is according to the system defined style. So if you want to specify a style uh, internal style sheet, for example this one, what is an internal style sheet? Again, we have to specify style declaration is defined inside a web page using style tag, that is called internal style sheet. So that means inside a head section of a page, if we will specify style tag like this, style type equal to text slash css, then style, then if you will specify, if you will define a style rule inside this section of a web page, that kind of style sheet is known as internal style sheet. So how we can define the style rule, we'll discuss next topics about selectors, because we have to get the knowledge of selectors to define a style here. So this section is known as internal style sheet. So first we have to learn what is internal style sheet, and inline we did it, but how we have to define a style declaration, then we have to learn about selectors in CSS. A selector is the name of HTML element, that is tag name, or a user defined name, that is ID or class selector. A selector is used to define style in CSS. We are having these four types of selector. One is universal selector, then type or element selector, then we are having class selector and ID selector. In this session we'll discuss about only universal selector and type selector only. First we'll discuss about universal selector. We can define a universal selector using a star symbol, that is asterisk symbol. It is used to apply a style to all the elements on a web page. For example, if we will use, as the name suggests, a universal selector will apply its style on all the elements of a web page, whether it is h1, h2, paragraph tag, that is